For the first time, we're hearing the chilling radio transmissions between firefighters in Stamford, Connecticut, recording during that fight against a deadly Christmas morning fire. NBC's Tom Yamas is in Stamford this morning. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. To give you an idea of how big the tragedy is buried beneath the ashes and rubble behind me, firefighters who responded to this house fire have had to go through counseling. Some of them reportedly can't stop thinking about what they saw, experienced, and the screaming coming from the mother who knew her children were trapped. And now, for the first time, we're hearing exactly what those firefighters were up against.
We got victims trapped on the second floor. We're going to rescue mode with the ladder.
Radio transmissions from this inferno on Christmas morning show from the moment Stamford, Connecticut firefighters arrived on the scene, the fire already had the upper hand.
We have heavy fire in the back of the building.
Investigators believe in the back of the home, discarded embers and hot ash from a fireplace sparked the blaze.
We got a report from one of the victims. There's people in that window.
Fire officials say the homeowner, Madonna Badger, was reportedly trying to get back into the home after escaping, trying to rescue her 3 daughters, along with her own parents who were trapped inside.
All right, we're going to need some protection up there. The guy gets his line here. We can't stay here. Yeah, I hear you. We got to get in there, though. Okay, we're going.
The fire department entered the home on the 2nd and 3rd floors where the victims were trapped. But as firefighters tried advancing by crawling in, the fire became unsafe even for them.
Number 4, big lines. Number 1 floor looking up. Most of the number 2 floors are compromised, right through. 2, 3 to 16 interior, be advised, you have heavy fire right above your head. Back out, back out.
Half an hour into the raging fire, and with the ceiling and floors collapsing around firefighters, the deputy chief on scene called off the search for the victims.
All units inside, back out, back out.
When firefighters eventually re-entered the home after fighting down the flames, they found Badger's daughters, 10-year-old Lily and twin 7-year-olds Sarah and Grace, along with the girl's grandmother, Pauline Johnson, all dead from smoke inhalation. Their grandfather, Lomer Johnson, who played Santa Claus at Saks Fifth Avenue, fell through the 2nd floor roof trying to save one of the girls. And it's still unclear if the Victorian home, which was more than 100 years old, had working smoke detectors. City officials say after an initial investigation, they think they were not activated. Funeral services for the family members will take place next week on Manhattan's Upper East Side.
They stood calm and quiet in the middle of Fifth Avenue, at times holding hands, at times a comforting touch, as Matthew and Madonna Badger waited on the coffins of their 3 daughters, Lily, Sarah, Grace. It's a pain only these parents can understand, a pain heard today by more than 1,000 people who came to say goodbye. Among them, Calvin Klein, Vera Wang, and Madonna's friend Michael Borsina, with whom she escaped the fire. The many members of the Stamford Fire Department who tried so valiantly to rescue the family stood in silence as well.
It was beautiful. I really can't express the words. It was a very touching, moving ceremony.
Madonna Badger spoke at the service. She said she wanted to talk about her little girl tribe, to fight for them to never be forgotten. She held her hand over her heart and said this is where they live now. There was Lily, her firstborn angel, Sarah, her whippersnapper full of love, and Grace, her fearless adventurer.
She cried through a lot of it, and the whole church was crying, but it was beautiful. Again, if something can be as sad and tragic, put yourself in her position, right? You know, again, I have 4 kids. It's just something you can't comprehend. And for her to get up there and tell stories was just beautiful. And it just shows how strong and big-hearted a person she is.
When the service was over and the caskets were carried out to the quietly waiting hearses, there were few dry eyes along this stretch of the Upper East Side, grieving for each of the 5 lives lost, as well as for the father and the mother, heading to bury their 3 little girls. On the Upper East Side, Heather Brown, Fox 5 News.